Thank you. Thank you, Thomas. I will be very, very brief. 2 minutes. You know, we in the Pacific have already, and we are prone to disaster. And any of you in your countries, either you are a player in disaster or you are a victim of a disaster, but we have all, and we are all aware of disaster. My topic here will be local government in disaster, not because we are disastrous, but what can we do in disaster. But before presenting you my summary, I would like to show you a clip on the recent disaster that happened in the Solomon Islands. It's very interestingly because normally we in the city hearing disasters that are happening in the provinces, in the islands. However, at this point in time, which is only in April, Honiara was struck with a disaster. And interestingly, it is a flood. Can I have that clip now, please? One second gone. 2 seconds gone. You know, really I want you to see this clip because it is what happened in the city, right within the city. And it has caused a nuisance, but at the same time it gives the council a real player in the action of a disaster. So that is the practice I want to show here, so that what can you do in your local government as you know, a reflection of what can we do for our people. Ladies and gentlemen, we as a local government within the city boundary, responsible for the citizens of the city and responsible for the development within the city. So what can we do? And I'll give you a reflection on what the City Council has been doing in addressing this, focusing on the emergency situations for the people that are affected. Firstly, the ministry, of course, which is the national government, in this situation, the Honiara City Council, through the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Conservation, through the office called the National Disaster Management Office, decided to work with the local governments. This is including the provincial governments. And what they did was they sent in seconded staff to the local government so that they work with the local government to see what can the local government do in situations like this. In this situation, the local government, in partnership with the seconded staff, we created what we call an emergency action plan for the local government. So in this situation, the Honiara City Council has one, and I have a copy in here. And it went through to the process, to the full council, which they gave the blessing in 2013. Next. And all of a sudden, in April this year, the disaster strike, which is right in the heart of Honiara. And I have a copy here of, should people in the local government wish to view, see, do it in their own way, feel free to get a copy. Next copy, please. During that episode, when the rain was starting to beat up, and the NDMO gave an office announcement to say that there's risk of high water, under this document, which is the emergency plan, the city clerk, who is the responsibility, called for an emergency meeting. And at the same time, the national office, which is the NDMO, they also provided an additional staff so that they work with us to see that we can activate this plan. Next slide, please. So when it struck, 21 people were confirmed dead, 25 still missing, 52 people affected, of a population of 515,000. Look, the population we have is small. So if the number of dead, which is 21, for us it is a lot. And we mourn for them because it is a population. So when that happened, the next slide please, is that this is what the operation plan looks like. All the session in pulling together even the stakeholders, the big NGOs who are key players in addressing disaster, it is the role of the local government to pull these people together so you can be able to better coordinate, collect information, and share information, and see that information are consistent so that they are all able to receive whatever assistance is possible. You will notice that in the structure, you will notice that it is chaired by the city clerk. And you will see that the political arm of the council is on the slide on the left, which is the city mayor and his executive. And of course, you have the National Justice Office who are also filtrating information to the clerk so that be able to pull together all the information. Next slide, please. Now, in the emergency situation, these are questions. So what can we do? In this policy we have here, we are more coordinating, concentrating more onto emergency situation rather than venturing into rehabilitation. Because if we do, we are trending into the responsible of another agency. But it must be clear in our policy, what are we addressing, what are we doing? Because everybody is running into the field to assist. But it is up to the local government, where do we want to play? And you can see from here is the coordination of how the city council is behaving, is doing during that episode. Next slide, please. As I said, Honiara's council, city council is only a player in emergency and relief situation only. And we leave the issues like registrations of the internal displaced people. We leave that to the national office, which is the NDMO, and other stakeholders, which is the NGO. But however, the local government must know, must aware, so that these information are well shared in between each other. Restoration of bridges, for example, the roads. I think we will leave those to the appropriate government. But this is a discussion paper. We need to review our document ourselves. After this episode that we have, we feel that we will also review where can we be stronger in this player. Next slide, please. So these are the challenges. Now, after that incident, the council, which is the mayor and his executive, pulled together a full council. And what they decided was they wanted to put together an ordinance. An ordinance is a bylaw, legislated so that people must not build or will not build between 5 to 200 meters near the river banks, within the streams, within the city boundary, because this is where the local government is playing. We need to review this again, as I say. We have seen some loophole, and we further would like to. Also, right now, most of our IDPs, the internal displaced people, they use school as the evacuation center, because that is also part of the emergency centers which the National Disaster Management Office, in partnership with the local government, which is the council. And what happened was we sent all these IDPs into this care center, and now we have an issue, because we couldn't get rid of them. Because most of them lost their homes, some of them partly, some of them full damage. That's why who is doing the registration, the data collection of the affected people, because these are the decisions, the basis of who is receiving what. So this is just sort of a picture of the council's response in the disaster. Next slide, please. The nation mourned. So what happened was this is a memorial service held by the nation to mourn for our people who lost their lives. Next slide, please. And as usual, after the exercise, the Lord Mayor would send a thank you message to the citizen of the city and the country, thanking them and the sorrow of what happened. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.